Were you going to cover your face?
Yeah.
Yeah, you prefer to look like a terrorist instead. That's your idea of protecting your identity.
I don't think I would look like a terrorist. I would look like I'm riding a horse.
Yeah, because people do that all the time these days. You know who covers their face while riding a horse? A bandit, not a lawful person.
Yeah, I guess a bandit is a bit of a terrorist.
Welcome back to the Jack of the Shadows podcast, season 2, episode 25. I'm Eric VC,
nice
and as always, I'm joined by my favorite Torval and Dean, Adam and Dave. Say hello, Adam.
Has this happened before?
I don't know who those people are.
Yeah, neither do I. But I feel like we have had this happen before.
The most famous ice skating pair of all time. They're the world's most famous ice dancers.
Ice dancers?
Yeah, I mean,
Torval
that's what they call
and
them.
Dean.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch Ice Dance all that much.
Well, they're the
Just
most
letting you
famous
know.
ones of all time, so this is a major gap in your knowledge base.
How long? It's not.
I think they're still skating in the Winter Olympics. They might be skating in these upcoming Olympics, in these upcoming Winter Olympics.
So they're...
I just watched Blades of Glory the other day, so I'm not thinking of those people.
So your knowledge of ice dancing is well filled.
Yeah. Because
ice dancing
don't
is a
care.
specific thing that I just don't like it. I don't like ice dancing.
I don't like it either.
Individual ice skating, though, I like it.
All right, there you go. That makes you Dean.
But you're saying that these folks might be your age or younger.
I don't think so. I don't think you can be my age and be doing that sort of stuff.
They're the most famous that's ever been, and they're still fairly young, huh?
No, don't think they're fairly young anymore, but I think they're young enough to be skating on the ice maybe in these upcoming Olympics.
That's when the hips break.
Yeah, they could be breaking hips.
Can break both hips.
Yep.
breaking them hips.
So those voices are Adam and Dave. Say hello, Adam.
Torval.
Yeah, that's good.
Isn't that one of our
my name
characters
is
in these book series?
Torval.
I don't remember Torval from this series. I don't think there's a Torval.
It does sound familiar. It is knocking on the back of my head in the memory room.
It's rattling around the dusty wooden door
Torval?
that leads to
Torval.
your memory. It's just a rickety, rotting door.
That sounds about
It's
right.
not even a door. It's like it's just a curtain that's moth bitten.
It's a moth eaten.
Yeah.
It's a moth eaten. What's the fabric that they use for theater curtains? It's
that stuff I can't remember.
it's velvet.
That's beautiful. What is that? Velvet?
Red velvet
It's
curtain.
velvet. Yeah.
It's the velvet fog.
It's containing everything that you can recall. Moving on, we will begin with our topics with View from Dragonmount, where we will review the major plot points for the 6 chapters we've read. We'll then
We
get
are
on to
in some serious good shape. We've
what
been walking
shook
up this
your willow.
Dragonmount so much.
We will start off with discussing the prophet in No Masema. Then we'll move on to Wolf and Man, and then we'll wrap up with Epic Faile.
I do have one thing to say about her that I miss hearing about her nose.
Well,
It's
that's
not
just
even
a
talked
given
about
now.
anymore.
Right? And it doesn't need to be anymore. It was discussed at such great length previously.
No.
It's now just part of the background. It's
Needs to be
background
brought up again.
radiation.
There's perfect chances. I mean, he just said her extremities were cold. He should have said, and that nose.
And that nose.
Oh, my.
It's so bold.
We'll finish this podcast with our Coplin of the week and who leveled up. So without further ado, let's launch onto the top of our favorite lonely mountain with our View from Dragonmount. So we started.
I tried watching that with Wolf.
Yeah, and
He was very frightened.
I watched it over Christmas and sung all the songs. I did a sing along with it.
I was singing the songs to him. It wasn't helping those goblins.
Was he like, "You're creeping me out, Daddy"?
No. Ugh,
You're
didn't call me
creepy.
Daddy. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
All right.
Baby.
So we read chapters 1 through 6 of Winter's Heart. Chapter 1 was leaving the prophet with the wolf glyph. So the chapter started in Tanchico, where life under the Shan-Chan had been an improvement over the chaos of war and rebellion that the common folk had been living through. Amadisha has also been conquered by the Shan-Chan.
Were people still starving though?
Not under the Shan-Chan.
Yeah, they weren't still starving.
They're not still starving. They just don't have any rights.
Right.
No, that's highly overrated.
So life is organized and proceeds along very well. You just can't step out of line. This is life under the Shan-Chan.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah. The children of the light have been pressed into chain gangs there in Amadisha. These people do not look on their conquerors as favorably. So everywhere else, they're digging the Shan-Chan. They're not such big fans in Amadisha. And then finally we arrive in Abala, where Masema is holding court. Perrin is just leaving Masema's tent and observing the people that make up Masema's guard in the streets surrounding the tent. And to Perrin, these people smell of a fever he can't recognize, but attributes to madness.
Fever.
That's
fever.
right. You can. There are a number of songs that have the word fever in them. You can pick any one you want. Right?
You know
there you go.
I've got a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell. I'm Bruce Dickinson.
You're standing by the paper. You get a really bad cut.
Really bad headache.
All right. Perrin is just leaving Masema's tent and observing these crazy people. He's convinced Masema and 100 of his followers to travel to Rand. Perrin is still seeing the colors when he thinks of Rand.
Can you see the colors changing?
I think
Perrin's
he's just
not a fan of the colors. Colors.
No, he wouldn't be. I would be very. I like the colors.
Apparently, he's never played Bloody Mary before. He missed out on that episode during his childhood.
What a creepy game.
Upon exiting the town, Balwer joins Perrin's ranks and informs him that King Aelron and the Amadishan army were defeated and captured by the Shan-Chan. And he continues on to say that Aemon Valda led an army of White Cloaks into the battle, but managed to escape at the end, and no one knows where that man and his army have fled to. So Aemon Valda is just out in the wild.
There are so many armies out in the wild right now.
Yeah, just floating around. It's him. It's him and the Shido, just out wreaking havoc. They're both about equally as evil. Also, Valda and the Shido. That's who Savannah should marry. She should marry Aemon Valda.
That sounds about right to me.
Bulwer also
would be a good pairing.
Bulwer, not for this world, it wouldn't, but
no.
In general, yes, they deserve each other. Bulwer informs Perrin of the war that Rand has fought with the Shan-Chan in southern Altara, though he doesn't know it was Rand. He just knows there was a crazy war with the Shan-Chan there that somebody won.
Oh, right.
Which takes us to Chapter 2, Taken, with the Wheel of Time glyph. So Perrin returns to his encampment to discover that the gathering.
Why do you think that's the glyph on here?
Because it's just story development, and it's not specific to Perrin or Faile. Though this event is, it's also right. Yes, it is. But this also is. It's bigger than them, Adam. It's just bigger than them.
I got it.
So he is. He's discovers his camp is in a high state of agitation. The Maeners and Gildanin and the two Riversmen all seem to be on the brink of a confrontation. Berlane informs Perrin that his wife has been captured. And she's not there.
She does a...
So there's that.
She does
kind of alarming.
She does a... I don't know if she's masking her smell, but she does a good job of not giving anything away with her odor to Perrin.
Her odorific.
Berlane?
Yeah.
Well, she's not... She realizes this is bad. This is bad on a lot of different fronts. And she also realizes that, like, tapping on Faile's grave probably isn't a good look in front of Perrin if she has any interest in him at all.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, I don't know. There were a lot of different smells that Perrin was smelling going on this whole time. Wafting around, learning different personalities, and hers was spot on.
Perrin asks why Arganda has prepared the Gieldanen for a horse charge against the Two Rivers men, and the captain tells Perrin his men are harboring Aiel, who may know what has happened to his queen. Which is not true.
Not at all.
They are Aiel. That much is true.
A little bit of the truth.
Perrin orders the man to take his soldiers from their created field of battle back to the main encampment. Berylane then tries to compliment Perrin for handling the confrontation under such difficult personal circumstances.
You did well.
And Perrin tells her to stop playing games.
Stop.
She doesn't know how.
Right, she does not know how. Perrin then has the Two Rivers people prepare to depart, and he stops Gaul and begs him to track the Aiel who took his wife. So they're all going after Faile. The whole camp. Everyone that was there under Rand's orders to bring Masema to him.
Yep.
That's annoying.
He had a duty, but nothing matters more than the Falcon. Nothing.
Here we go.
Gaul leads the Spear Maidens away, which is strange to Perrin. And then Perrin stumbles back to where his tent has been dismantled and is informed by Linny that he looks like murder walking.
That was strange to Perrin, Gaul leading them away.
Yeah. Not strange to Perrin is that he looks like death walking.
Right.
He then heads to a precipice where he will see the return of those who are searching for the captives. And Talonvor is there, waiting for word of Magdan. So he and Talonvor spend a lovely evening on the precipice, watching the moon come up.
The moon's
They
over
have a
my
great
hammy.
time.
That takes us to Chapter 3, Customs, with the Falcon Glyph. So we join Faile in the Shido camp, and she stumbles along naked and bound in the columns of Shido. After several hours of moving at a brisk pace, Roland, the Shido, who has her leads, puts her in a fireman's carry and carries her because her feet are all bloody.
Big guy.
Looking behind her, she sees Alejandra, Magdan, Lucille, Arella, Bane, and Chiad. All have survived the march and the initial capture. She tries to fight off hyperthermia, but eventually succumbs to a fever dream before waking the next morning. She's given a blanket the next morning and hot honey tea by Guy Shine, who informs her custom has been broken by clothing them before they are given their white robes. And she informs the guy Shine that custom was broken the moment she was captured. Actually, she's informed by the guy Shine that custom was broken the moment she's captured because you're not supposed to make wetlanders guy shine.
Yeah,
No.
this is bad.
Man, we knew this. Though. This is
Tradition.
how Savannah rolls.
Tradition.
She just does what best.
She shatters tradition.
What best suits her.
Yeah.
The guy Shine agrees that the Shido break many customs. That's what they do. It's in their DNA.
They're the custom breakers.
We have it tattooed.
That's right.
Customs crossed out.
Chapter 4, Offers, with the Spear and Buckler's glyph. Faile then notices there are thousands of Aiel around her. Soon her captors are joined by Savannah, Tharava, Somarin, and Lena.
Just
And the name
moving
is
parts.
The name now given to Galena is Lena. So let's remember that as we move forward.
It's not
Galena
too difficult.
Casban is
Galena,
now Lena.
Galena.
Galena. While the wise ones address the captive, Alejandra announces that she is a queen, and that if she and her liege women or any of their servants are hurt, there will be no ransom paid.
I'm sure they're listening to her.
This is so... I wish she wouldn't have done that.
Then Savannah was like, "Where are my boots? Where are my boots? I must be shaking in them somewhere."
Right, yes.
I'm sure.
Actually, she's shaking in her chains.
Right. And
Yeah.
her many necklaces.
Right.
Shortly after that, Savannah asks who the liege is here, and Faile reluctantly raises her hand. Savannah orders Lena to verify Alejandro's identity and then to heal the captives. We also learned during an exchange of the Wise Ones that soon 5 of the 78 septs of the Shido will be united. So after being scattered to the winds, 5 of these Shido septs are going to finally coalesce somewhere in this area.
These bunch of morons.
A Muron.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Savannah has a long way to go before uniting all these Murons.
She's got 5.
I don't think it's going well for her.
Lena's healing leaves Faile desperately tired and trying to figure out how an Aes Sedai became Gaishain to Savannah. Next, Faile and her coterie are made Gaishain to Savannah as well, and each is fitted with a collar and a golden belt to identify them. So at least they're well dressed.
I mean, if they need to, sell something, they got some money.
I'm just imagining they look a little like Cleopatra.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think this is fabulous.
I mean, Savannah looks like a hootenanny, but
while putting on her new
Savannah's
clothing,
a wild one.
Faile loses sight of those under her command, except for Alejandra and Magdan. The 3 women march with the Shido and their Gaishain and discuss escaping. During the conversation, Faile is very upset with the amount of command Magdan attempts to have over their departure. Tharava then arrives and warns them against escape, while also telling them she is their only hope of not serving as Gaishain until they're old and useless. The politics going on amongst the Shido.
Bet they're going to hear that a lot.
The Shido sound a lot like Tower 1 to me. Like, there's one strong person who's in charge, and she's so strong-headed, she doesn't realize all of the cracks in the foundation, which are just waiting to swallow her. So the Wise Ones ask...
absolutely.
The Wise Ones ask Faile, Alejandra, and Magdan to spy on Savannah for her. This is what the Rava does. Hey, this really powerful woman has you as a servant. I'm sure it won't be any problem for you at all to risk your life by spying on her for me and reporting her doings to me daily.
Yep.
You won't mind doing that, will you?
No, pigeons. They should use them. Although people
From
are
within
always
camp?
looking.
How far do these
People are
pigeons
always looking out for those pigeons.
These pigeons
Also,
have
they're
been
probably
flying like 3 blocks.
They're probably all dead.
The pigeons?
I don't know if they can live in that
it's so
weather.
cold and snowing all the time. On the upside, if they're white pigeons, they would blend in really nicely with the snow
There you
and be
go.
easily
That's
camouflaged.
true.
You wouldn't see them flying about.
I mean, you got
And
pigeons
pigeons
in
are a tasty
Chicago. I
meal.
think that's fine.
Yeah,
City pigeons.
right. Yeah, exactly. Those aren't country pigeons.
Yeah, country pigeons are good.
Yeah, city pigeons are. Man, the first sign of snow, they're looking for a belfry. After Tharava leaves, they are approached by Lena, who asks Faile who she is to be the liege lord. Who is to be the liege lord of Queen Alejandra? Faile then thinks she can throw Lena off the scent by giving her married name Tybara, but Lena quickly links it with Perrin.
These are just bad choices after bad choices, and she was doing pretty well.
Nah, she's in a tough spot. There's really no good choices here. That's the problem.
No, not just her, but the queen announcing herself.
Alejandra, yeah.
Another
that's
bad
Alejandra.
choice.
That's
true.
those royals. They just can't help telling you who they are all the time.
Like people that go to Harvard.
Royals.
Oh, man. Right. Yes, exactly. Like people who go to Harvard.
Harvard.
Lena tells Faile that if the woman does not get the slim ivory-looking red rod that Tharava keeps in her tent, she'll tell Savannah about her husband.
Otherwise known as the Ivory Slim Jim.
Yeah, snap into it.
Yep.
It's the Oath Jim.
It's just a smoky stick.
Right. They go to use it like,
It's
delicious.
been well cured.
Num, 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 num.
It's the Aiel salt stick.
That's right. Yeah. The Aiel salt stick takes us to chapter 5, Flags, with the wolf glyph. So the chapter opens with Perrin as young bull in the wolf dream. He's been in the dreams for some time, desperately searching for Faile.
He was actually
His legs are
desperately
feeling strong.
searching for Susan, couldn't find her, and went for the Faile instead.
Hopper appears from the sky to chide him for being in the dream for too long, and he tries to kill Hopper for stopping his search.
Love a hopper sighting.
Yeah.
Perrin.
It's been a while. It's been a hot minute since we had a hopper sighting.
Hopper tells him Faile is not there and then collides with his side to knock him over and wake him up from the dream.
What's going on?
It's about doggone time. Perrin wakes in Bearlane's tent. He asks her if she's heard from the scouting parties, and she tells him that that none of them have returned yet. But they did find some of her searchers dead about 5 or 6 miles away. So there's bandits about.
There be bandits about.
There's everything.
Man, I could use some Bale Domon, too. It's been a while.
Perrin takes comfort in the fact
Tracks
that Gaul has not
large
returned.
cats.
But he believes that means that the Aiel scouts are tracking Faile and haven't found her corpse yet.
Are we guessing those are the Grolm?
Yeah. Yes.
Seems like it. They keep, I mean, there's mention of them looking like cats all the time.
Right.
With toad faces.
Yep.
Perrin asks why he is in Bearlane's tent, and she explains they found him lying in the snow, almost dead. Honora believed that if she had not healed him, he would have lost some toes from frostbite, and they still feared that he might die. After the discussion of food, Bearlane informs him that 3 of the 4,000 of Masema's men have arrived. That's
What?
right.
3 of the 4,000? Just 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
The other 3,997 are waiting.
It's 3 or 4,000 of Masema's men have arrived.
Now that makes a little more sense.
But not Masema himself. He's
makes
still
more
waiting
sense.
to arrive fashionably late.
He's going to tell.
A grand
He's going
entrance.
To tell.
Perrin is angered that Masema has broken his word and is not keeping his army to the 100 that he had promised just the day before.
What? A crazy man not keeping his word? Strange.
Yeah. He smells of madness.
Strange.
But I'm sure he'll keep his word.
Yeah.
Bearlane goes on to inform him that she's heard from Faile's Chafail about Masema's meeting with the Shanchan. She finishes by letting him know that her scouting party were not killed by the Aiel, but Masema's men. So that's who she thinks killed her peeps. Food arrives for Perrin, and he stalks out of the tent. He realizes he has no idea where Masema's men are gathered, so he approaches Bearlane's servants and asks them. And after much giggling and looking back and forth between Bearlane's tent and Perrin, they tell him they think it's 3 or 4 miles southwest.
And tee-heeing.
Yes, they're very pleased with themselves. Perrin returns to his camp and sees his wolf banner and the red eagle of Manetherin. He's been using these flags to disguise his intentions in the land, and he's now prepared to take a different tack, and someone else is going to have to pay for it. But the chapter concludes without telling us what his plans are. Which takes us to the final chapter we read, chapter 6, Descent of Madness. With the Falcon.
It's all around.
It's coming off, it's wafting off a lot of people near Perrin. So Perrin orders Daniel to take the entire camp on the move.
The taste of paint.
And he's going to take them to where Bearlane's scouting party was ambushed. And then they'll travel by gateway to a destination yet to be determined.
Wait, why is this a falcon glyph?
Because Perrin's chasing after Faile.
Sure.
Odd choice. Okay.
Basil Gill appears and informs Perrin that Talonvor told Basil that Perrin had allowed him to chase after the missing persons and head out early. Perrin sees a glaring Linny and asks her if there might be some food about, and she gives him some angry words about not eating off his own dishes and stalks off.
So comeuppance.
Linny. Lover.
Perrin can't make any sense of what Linny has said and asks Gill. He learns from the Shimbayan that Linny walked over to the Mayene camp that morning to look after Perrin and has been informed by one of Bearlane's maids that Perrin and Bearlane have spent the night together. Perrin
you know
tells
what?
Basil,
good for them.
Technically
Good
accurate.
for them.
Perrin tells Basil to dispel Linny of this lie.
She's her kind of lover.
It's technically not a lie, but the connotation is definitely not true.
She's a part-time lover.
Love that song.
Next, Salande and Chafail appear, demanding their horses, and after yelling at them, Perrin agrees to give them their horses back if they promise to obey him and not do anything rash. Because that's what Chafail do, like nothing rash.
They
probably have a rash.
have many
They
rashes.
give me a rash.
I mean, they probably have
Salande does
rashes
agree
on
to
their
this,
feet.
though. A group of Faile appear
Salome?
with the three warders.
salami.
Sulin tells Perrin that Faile is alive.
Oh.
She also shows him the arrows
Hooray!
of the clans that have joined the Shido,
Yay!
which are the arrows of the Tarda, the Mayagoma, and the Gashine. And the Shido arrows as well. So
A lot of
Plenty.
yeah.
they're coming
They're just
together. These
digging in
Shido.
the snow for things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're digging in this thing that they're unfamiliar with. Snow is a
And they're
relatively
finding it.
new phenomenon for them, and they've got no problem.
kidding.
These people who are used to like 100-degree
Phenomenon.
temperatures are just,
Yeah.
Phenomenon.
not wearing any more clothing than they're used to wearing. Sulin continues that she believes the Shido are traveling south to meet a Sept of Aiel. So she realizes that this group of Shido just continues to grow. It's not getting smaller.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to be
and
worried
the
about.
funny thing is, like, that's like 1/10 of their number. Like, there's so many more to go.
Yeah, it's
that aren't
not
there.
I do
even-
not-
It's not even.
I know it was a long
quarter
time ago we
of
just
the
mentioned, but
overall
I do
number.
not remember the Shido being this big.
Oh, they're huge.
That's
what
They're
I was
thinking.
Huge. Yeah, no. They're we've talked a couple of times about how many Aiel there are, let alone Shido.
Right. Well,
Wrong.
Just
I'm
hundreds
just like
of
going,
thousands.
Right. Well, I'm just going back to them in that ravine and Rand and
Right.
Rand having to prove himself, and then her running off
Standing in front
after
of
her
like
Cold
husband
everybody.
dies.
Cold Rocks
Yeah,
Harbor.
And I did
Cold.
Cold
Rocks
Rocks
Harbor.
Cove.
That's like a.
Cold Rocks.
Got to combine them all.
Cove.
Cold Rocks Harbor Cove.
Right. Yeah. You wouldn't find the Aiel anywhere near a harbor, so that wouldn't
No.
make any sense.
Yeah.
They'd be like,
Cold Rocks
Yeah,
Water?
but there's so many of them. It's frightening.
It's the name of a new beer.
so.
Cold Rocks Cove.
It's like actually it'd be a rum. That'd be a rum.
Sulin
Oh, yeah.
mentions having seen some rockin' in the sky and the large footprints of a fast-moving foreign beast, which Perrin concludes is Sean Chan as well. And then Perrin orders the army 40 miles south.
We're going south.
Yeah.
Which direction is Rand in?
Not
He's
that
not
way.
south.
He is west, or he's east.
Yeah, I thought he was northeast.
He's a little bit northeast. He's more east than he is north. But yes, there is
Yeah.
some north there.
Oh, Perrin.
Then Masema appears with a couple hundred more men. Because, why not? He's already broken the rules. Why not break them further? And tells Perrin that he cannot keep his followers from journeying to Rand. Perrin
Right.
tells Masema that it's obvious that he has a very hard time controlling his followers, so that makes total sense. No, that's not what
This-
happens. The man has complete control of these people and absolutely would be able to prevent them from showing up here.
He sure likes being around his boys.
Yeah.
So do the White Cloaks.
Right. Yeah. Two great groups.
He really love just being around dudes.
So Perrin tells Masema he's heading south to recover his wife from the Shido, and Masema says he will go with Perrin because killing Aiel is doing the light's work.
Just this once.
And you're this one time, and because you're a buddy of the dragon.
Yeah. Well,
Even
and
though
also he seems to
I
think
think
that
that
like
you're-
killing Aiel solves some sort of or is following some sort of religious creed, which we've never heard of before.
Yeah, especially as Rand is the leader of the Aiel. All of the
Right,
Aiel.
yeah.
Even the Shido.
The light apparently hates the
Well,
Shido.
Right.
How convenient.
And he honestly, I think, feels like Perrin is Shadow Spawn.
Right. Oh, yeah. If he could stick a shank into Perrin, he'd do it in a second.
Well, I think he wants to.
All right. So Perrin tells Masema that he plans on traveling to catch up with the Shido, who are 40 miles south, and to his surprise, Masema says a dispensation against being involved with the One Power will be granted this one time to himself and his followers.
That's a bit.
How convenient that he's the person that can grant this.
Yeah.
Well,
How lucky for Perrin that the one person that can grant his followers this dispensation happens to be there.
It is great. I mean, that's what that's what being a Taviran is, maybe.
That's also what being a prophet is, who can just make up your own rules.
Yes.
That's called being psychotic.
Yeah, he's definitely one taco short of the supreme meal.
I was waiting for the conclusion of
One taco short.
One taco short.
Well, they have
he's
that
one
pack.
taco short of a happy
Taco
box.
The Taco Bell does have the box of tacos, but I have no idea how many are
What
in
would you
there.
call it? The Fiesta box?
You're
I
an
think they call it
enchilada
Taco
short on my
Town.
plate.
Taco down. We
Adam,
surround it with a gordita.
Shook your Willow.
Well, I have the fascinating thing of what shook my Willow
Well,
this week
howdy-ho.
was howdy-ho was just a simple fact that these chapters were really short.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to that in these books. And I'm wondering, is this what it's going to be like?
I have no answer for that to give you.
I know.
Right.
Well, Eric did spoil it in a text.
No. We know that this is one of the shorter books, and I talked about it during the episode where we covered the prologue that the chapters are shorter
That
for this
being
book. So
last episode.
yep. Mm-hmm.
This
You know,
is
the episode before this one, which was the first chapter.
the last one. But
Right, last.
yeah, no, these were so short and kind of covering a lot of ground. It wasn't covering even that much ground.
No.
How long? Was it a day?
It's been a day,
Right, a day.
a night and
Yeah.
a day,
Yeah.
an afternoon and a day.
Tea
Yeah.
time.
It's
It's
been
been over
24
tea time.
hours. It's been one afternoon to the next.
One
11
afternoon,
Zs.
but a lot of people have talked to one another.
There's been a lot of conversation.
There's
about
been a lot
nothing.
of Right. There's been a lot of conversation about
It's like a
my wife
Seinfeld
is
episode.
gone, and it's everybody's job to help me find my wife.
Don't you get it? It's my wife. And then she just has this following of, well, we're having a Faile. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're going to get there eventually.
You're having a Faile.
It's called having a moment, otherwise known as having
Anytime
a
I read
Faile.
about Faile, I'm basically having a Faile.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Have you Failing down the stairs?
So my
Injured yourself?
my favorite moment was when Faile thought about Barrelane. The quotation from the book is, "She hoped Barrelane had escaped the ambush and told Perrin everything."
That's great.
And then
And then
fallen
again-
into a hole and broken her neck.
I almost picked that myself. I almost
That's
picked that. I literally burst out laughing in my car when I was listening to that. Like, it's that moment when, like, you're surrounded by people at a stop sign and you just all of a sudden burst out laughing, and then you look around
Everybody's
to make
like,
sure.
What
What's
is
that
that
guy
person
laughing
laughing
Yeah,
at?
that was me.
They're as crazy as Masema.
Yeah.
No, I love seeing a person laugh. Sorry, I'm not as...
I love to laugh. I
I
laugh
love
and laugh
looking
with
at-
glee.
I love looking at people laugh.
Dave, what laughed your Willow?
My willowing laughter was actually, it's funny we're talking about Barrelane. It was the scene between Barrelane and Perrin where she's like, "Let's call a truce." And Perrin, as dumb as he always is, was like, "Truce? Why would we need a truce?" And she just stares at him like, "You dumb lummox." And she's like, "Okay. I gave it to you. I gave you the chance, and you just messed it all up."
One of the major characters for these 6 chapters was Masema. So let's talk about the prophet for a little bit and no Masema.
You know what he is? He's a pain in my Masema.
Yeah, he is a big
That's
pain in the
what it should have
Masema.
been.
He's
Pain
a knockoff.
in the Masema.
He's a knockoff Masemo.
There you go.
Well, Masemo's kind of a knockoff.
What?
Masemo is awesome.
Masemo, isn't that Target's like hip cool
No.
brand?
Well, yes, but it
They
used to be.
bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Target
they bought
from
it.
the
Like
brand
things
itself.
go, they bought it.
Right.
Massimo is an awesome. It was
Maybe it
sweet.
was
skating
at one
it
time.
Was, yeah.
I doubt it is any longer.
You're in
Now it's a catch-all.
over your skis.
Catch-all. It's kind of like Champion.
So Masema
Love
started
Champion.
to go insane at the we got hints of it at the beginning of the Great Hunt when Rand was in the canyon and just starting to deal with the fact that he actually was the Dragon Reborn and sort of had a bout with his sanity there and caused an entire canyon to crumble. And then Masema realized at that point that he didn't hate Rand. Instead, he was obsessed with him. And then this is what happened.
It's so crazy. The journey that this, like, from where he began, from where we first met him to what he's become now.
Yeah.
And we see him popping up every once in a while, but there's like no great study of it, I don't think, of how he actually did he just go nuts?
Like, how do you think it happened?
I don't know. He lost it. He how old is he?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how old
I don't think
he
we
is.
have an. I don't think. I mean, he's a Shinaran warrior. So, and
So
I
do we
think
think
he's
it
a grizzled warrior. So he's at least in his 30s or late 30s or 40s.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it could have happened from being up in the blight for too long and then just eventually took hold. Who knows?
That's true.
What do you mean being up in the?
They fight in
When
the
he was-
Borderlands.
Yeah. When he was,
right,
when
but he
was
was
on guard.
he went insane because of Rand. Like that's what
That's the
what
only-
led
yeah,
to
that's-
this.
You think Rand somehow made him insane?
Well, not deliberately, no. But
How
yes,
would he undeliberately do it?
because of
By being Taviran? It makes him go crazy?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with that. Adam, you were going to speculate on what you think happened to him.
Oh no! Well, I think he just lost his mind. Apparently, it might have happened before that, but when we first met him, none of that was really happening.
No.
Nothing.
Or at least not that we knew of.
Not that we knew of. So maybe it was there, but he became a true believer real fast. So
And then he
maybe
just started
was-
this entire crazy thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Eric is right to bring up that example, though, because that is where I suppose he first started looking at Rand as a god.
Yeah, that's
Right.
that's the very first time that we get any kind of mention of him. Because remember, initially he is incredibly skeptical of Rand.
Yeah.
Like he does not like Rand.
He didn't like any of them.
No.
They are responsible for bringing for Pod and Fane arriving there. They're responsible for therefore ostensibly they're responsible for the Trolloc attack. Rand doesn't. They go off to seek the eye of the world rather than going into what's the name of the gap? Not Rohan's gap. The gap that they ride into where they go to fight the Trollocs in Eye of the World.
Oh.
And he rides off, and
Yeah.
Rand doesn't ride off with him. And then Rand appears in the sky above them. But there's a lot of speculation as to whether or not that's
that is,
actually
yeah.
Rand. The only, there is the painting of Rand that starts. There's the painting of the person in the sky that starts to circulate, and it looks like it's Rand. And then we go to the Dragon Reborn, and Rand is struggling with his own identity and whether and what happened to him. And I think I think that's the book where this happens, because it's their journey back, and Masema travels back with them, and then eventually Rand has that episode and leaves. Right, he leaves all by himself. And it's at that point that we get a snippet of Masema, and it's clear that Masema starts talking about Rand as a god.
Yeah.
So I will postulate a different theory on this.
Ooh. Salt and
Could
pepper
it be,
us.
and on top of his own obvious weird religious fervor, if you will, because that's obviously a part of this, could it be someone like Moghedien or someone in the background, in the shadows, catching his brain in his dreams? Doing something wonky like that.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
Because it's working in their favor and not in Rand's. Masema is
Or it
certainly
could
not
be-
an agent of good.
Or maybe it could just be one of them in general.
Oh, well, right. I mean, there is that, I suppose. I didn't think about that, but yeah. There's that. But I mean, I feel like there's some darker machination going on than just him just all of a sudden just getting super religious and crazy.
I mean, that stuff does happen, but it's strange to happen
out of nowhere.
I mean, clearly it's happened because this is what this guy's become.
Right.
And then he just obviously is like, oh my gosh, this is bringing me power. People are listening to me. And then that adds a whole other level to it.
That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah,
I love that
That's
idea.
Interesting. I do like
because we got those
idea.
we got those Forsaken out there that can do that through the compulsion and mind control and all
absolutely.
that crap.
I would
books
say
about it.
At this point, I would be super disappointed though if that were the case, because it would feel a little convenient if you sort of.
I mean, we might not ever
use
find
it
out
at the end. Well, no. That's
I
the
would be
type of thing.
surprised
If
if
that's
we
the
did.
case, then you have to find out. You have to reveal that as an author. You don't
unless,
just,
of course, you die.
you don't just.
It's true.
No,
I mean,
the man left copious notes. There were plenty of notes. I'm sure Brandon Sanderson would have found something like that, and we will learn of it if it happened. But it's also like the idea of I was going to say self-obsessed, but that's not what Masema is. The idea of the singularly obsessed individual who then turns that obsession on something else is a literary type. And so this isn't unprecedented by any means.
No,
It's
not at all.
just
I mean, this happens.
no
for
one
real.
saw this coming. I love the character. I love the character of the prophet out there creating chaos and
I do
literally
too.
just his own agent and not actually a prophet for anything that he espouses to be a prophet for, which is it's pretty obvious that he's just making it up as he goes along, even if he's not aware of it.
I am just wondering how long. I'm curious how long we're gonna wait until he actually meets Rand, because
if
again,
Rand seems to forget about things and leave them to other people to deal with.
Yep. Well, you go do this. Get away from me.
This does not seem like it'll be one
The most
of those
important
things.
thing is you're getting away from me. So just get away from me.
Yeah, the most important part of that sentence was "get away from me."
Except for
shut up,
men. Yeah, I kind of hope that it takes a little while for them to
Yes.
get together.
What are the chances that Masema will meet Rand and go, yeah, okay, I get it now?
None.
This is fantastic.
Right?
This is what I've been hoping
None.
for.
Right. Yeah.
I'm fulfilled.
Yeah.
And then he commits seppuku.
You're doing all the right things, sir. I will just
Yeah.
just give me your direction and I'll follow it.
I
Yeah.
think there's a much greater chance they don't meet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that there's a huge
I
chance.
think there's a great chance they do meet, and Masema finds some reason to believe that he was wrong about Rand, and there's somebody else that he should be following who's far more violent than Rand.
Oh, sure.
Or he just feels
That could definitely
that
happen.
Rand is a fake dragon and has been
Yeah,
right.
false dragon,
impersonated
yeah.
by somebody else.
Yep.
And
Yes, exactly.
Easy to do.
So Masema is hanging out there in Abala. What who wants to buy a cottage in Abala?
this reminds me of that other town they went to that had the nightmare in it, where they were in the nightmare.
Yeah,
and they were
sure.
killing all the people.
Yeah, it's muddy.
Yep.
Even though it's snowy and cold, no one, it's just a bunch of vagrants wandering around with swords or other things that they can, other agricultural
Hoes,
things that
rakes,
they can use as weapons.
pickaxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Just any blunt object, really.
Pieces of wood
And these people are
definitely pieces of wood.
barely
with nails in them.
saner than he is.
Oh, they all flew over the cuckoo's nest.
I mean, like
I
what
don't- do you think the
happens
entire
after
town is
sundown in
just-
this place?
well,
Does
it's probably
does
all of
everybody
them.
just like find a place on the ground to lie down and they just lay down wherever they happen to find themselves
I'm
on
sure
the
there's
street?
decent people there that are terrified and they're holed up in their
I don't think there are
houses,
decent. I think the decent people have left.
or they've been
I
killed.
thought you were saying
Right, or
it was
been
a
killed.
sundown town. So if you're from out of town, do not come in there.
Well, that's kind of like
It
that
might
other
be a
village I was
sundown
talking
town,
about.
yeah.
You better be scared. Yeah.
This is like its own weird bubble of evil, but out in the open, and the bubble is popped, and the evil is just spread everywhere.
This is going to be a new. Expression for incredulity in this area. Hey, if you believe that, I've got some property I can sell you in Abala.
Right.
Habla. Lakeshore property.
That's right.
How did you get a thumbs up?
I deserve thumbs up all the time. What do you mean?
Did you do
How
that
did
to
I get a
yourself?
thumbs up?
I just saw a thumbs up.
You can't
pop
thumbs up
on your...
yourself.
I didn't do it, so he must have.
You thumbs up to yourself. Wow.
It's like someone complimenting themselves for, I don't know,
It's like patting
winning a
yourself on
drink
the back
award,
in
winning a
Abala.
drink award they didn't make.
Wait, what? Someone did that?
I'll talk off air about it. Yes.
This this opening chapter gives us an even better sense of how dangerous Masema is.
Absolutely. He keeps having people show up.
People keep
Just
showing
more and more men, oiled up men,
Yeah.
ready for it.
I mean,
Disturbing.
his army just sounds like an army of Walking Dead.
Hooligans.
It's
Warriors.
It's just a bunch of zombies. Though a self-proclaimed prophet, we get the sense of a Mexican drug lord here, buried deep within the bowels of a city that he's turned into his squalid fortress. I mean, this is really what's going on here.
What is it? It's like a
Not a Bolivian or Colombian, but a Mexican drug lord.
well, no. It could also be. Oh my gosh.
Or Venezuela.
Apocalypse Now.
Right. The Vietnamese.
It could be you're
Just Brando.
right. What's the name?
Right.
Colonel Colonel.
I don't.
Why can't I
You're above,
remember his name?
It's a little above my pay grade. I'm glad I got that in there.
Goebbels. I just want to say Goebbels.
You're just happy to have your Heart of Darkness reference.
Mm.
All right. So and then he has the arrogant, like he why does he even bother to make agreements with Perrin over the number of men he's going to allow to bring, and why not just say, I'm not doing any of this.
Because-
Either you're gonna have me or you're not.
Because he's crazy.
Well, that's not a-
There is because he's crazy, but I also think it's kind of like, hey guys, look what I can do to him.
I mean, yeah, he could be.
I can
he could be flexing.
keep doing this, and he's just going along with it.
yeah.
Look at this guy.
I feel like he's just kind of he literally is just
I
doing
told him
whatever
we
he
got
wants.
one.
Whatever he wants to in the moment. It's as if the past
big.
doesn't actually happen to him.
Genital moves. Is that appropriate in this?
Yes. You could say it in cojones.
Big genital moves.
Yes.
So Masema finally joins Perrin there and is causing, I'm sure, will just be a constant source of joy in Perrin's life moving forward. Let's talk about
Like wet sand.
Let's
in
talk
his
about
Oh, boy.
the joyous life of Perrin and Wolf and Man.
Shape shift. Back to the meeting.
Can we talk about how many weeks this man has been joyous in his life?
You could probably count it on one hand.
No, it was all before Faile showed up. That's how many.
That's true. That is true.
No, he had
So
joy
like
on his
17
wedding day. There
years.
have been a couple of days with Faile as
Okay,
well.
17
Well,
years and
yeah,
2 days.
There have definitely been a couple days with
Yeah.
Faile.
Yes,
A
absolutely.
couple good days.
Yeah, some good
One,
days.
2, or 12.
Those were some good days.
Those were the days.
That's right. Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
But I mean, now I guess they were having a couple good days because he was yelling at her.
Right. Not anymore, Adam. He's not going to do that ever again anymore.
No.
I find her, I'm just going to smoopy all day long.
Would Perrin have been better off waging a war in Abala and taking Masema as a captive? He thinks about this. This thought crosses his mind that he could have just
Bonking
swept
him
the
over
man
the
up.
head?
Right,
Well,
yeah, exactly.
I tell you what, we as the readers would have been better off because Perrin would have been dead and we wouldn't be dealing with this maudlin nonsense.
Wow, we're already there. We're already to the point
I
where
love the
David was
fact
just
that this
Perrin
is
were
just-
dead.
It's too
I have
much.
to wear a shirt with, me as Perrin on it.
You are.
It's awful.
What do you mean it's awful?
It's awfully good.
Perrin.
It's
No,
wonderful.
the shirt's fantastic. Perrin is so annoying.
Well, we're trying to tell you something.
We need a
Adam.
redemptive arc, Adam.
Yeah, I chose it.
Right.
I chose these characters. Well, no, Eric. Yeah.
You were sort of assigned it. You didn't really have a choice.
Eric chose. No.
Hey,
I remember this
in the
conversation.
beginning, who didn't want to be Perrin? Yay, Perrin was cool.
Yeah, Perrin's a blacksmith.
And then Dave and I were joking. We were like, Eric's definitely going to choose to be Rand.
It's true.
Well, I believe me, if I actually had my choice, I would have chosen to be Matt, not Rand.
You should be. No, Dave's Matt, clearly.
Well,
you should have been Alana.
There we go.
Should have been Alana.
Alana is not a major character, you buffoon.
I know, but it was funny.
Yeah, funny to you.
It was quite funny.
You're Alana.
Oh, man.
I think Alana is a major character. What are
I mean, you could have
about?
been Avienda. She's cool.
I'm not being any of the women in this
I don't like this
story.
Oh, Eric.
Okay, fine. You could have
okay.
been Pod and Fane.
I could have been Pod and Fane. I wish
Pedro Niall.
I wish I had been. All right. He doesn't capture Masema because he doesn't want any of the change that he doesn't want any of the carnage
fallout
that the Ashaman are capable of. He doesn't want another Dumai's Wells there in
because he
Abola.
was there.
Yeah,
he saw it.
Yeah, he knows how it can end up. So instead,
But
he goes the peaceable route.
Is it just thousands of 4,000 followers?
Yeah,
3,000.
That's just the ones he brought
3 to
with
4.
him.
He showed some restraint.
But those are the people that I guess he just gathered them from alongst the way.
They just happen to be here. I don't know where these people come from. They just show up because I'm so awesome.
They were hanging out in the forest all by themselves, and I said, "Hey, let's go."
Yeah, I found
What are they all eating?
3,000 bark.
People,
Barking
Yeah,
people.
it has to be people, right?
Trollocs,
There aren't any Trollocs.
Aiel. Who knows?
What is?
There's not a lot of food around. A lot of these people are starving.
Weather?
I mean, a lot of these people are skinny.
Apple, very small rock
And
cider,
underfed.
churches.
This is not exactly the type of. I mean, they literally do look like The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
This is not the type of army that you would immediately be afraid of
They will
because
overwhelm
of
you with their
how hardy
numbers,
they are.
not with their prowess.
It's just
With
the sheer
It'll
numbers.
just be bones clackling on top of you.
What was that word?
Clackling.
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 I think it should be a word. I mean, it's a good description of what a bones
is.
and
Clattering
bones sound
and
like.
crackling.
Clambering, clattering,
It's a clackle.
and crackling.
Clackle.
So Rosine and Nana really seem to be getting a thrill from Perrin's convalescence in Barrelane's tent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a
Are
major
a-twittering.
coup by Barrelane and these two women here.
And well,
Perrin is having a marital crisis, and they see this as an opportunity to sow some discontent amongst his people
and
I'm
Anura was
by
their
part of
having
that
him
too.
stay there.
I'm on their side.
You're on Barrelane's side on this?
Eric,
I'm always on Barreline's
You
side.
really
I
don't
am-
like. You
I
just
am
don't
with you
like
on that
Perrin.
one. No, it's not Perrin's Faile.
Yes, it's Faile.
He would have lost toes, and then there would have been toe.
No. He doesn't need to spend the entire night in her tent not to lose toes.
He does.
Right? Yeah. No, he doesn't.
Oh, this is the question you were asking.
frostbite.
I bet that I do think Faile would have been more upset if he lost toes.
I think so too,
Yeah.
because she can deal with Faile.
She already
Faile can deal
is.
with
She feels like she's
Barrelane.
already doing that.
Well,
Yeah.
as long as she's fallen into a hole and broken her neck, yeah, she can deal with her.
What?
No, she has been dealing with her.
She's been dealing with her this
they've
whole
put
time.
Yeah.
She's giving her comeuppance.
She's not happy with her.
No, but that doesn't mean she can't deal with her. They're two different things.
Yeah, she's
Well,
clearly.
you didn't ask whether or not she could deal with her. You asked what would she be more
They
happy
made
with,
their
whether he
amends.
lost
They're
toes
buddies
or
now.
spent
They're
the
good
spent the
friends.
night in a right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she would have been. She loves his toes. Don't you remember all those chapters about her
Toes.
His
love
toes.
with Perrin's toes?
Yeah, but here's the thing: like, she can deal with coming back and dealing with that. Can you imagine if she would have blamed Barrelane somehow for Perrin losing toes?
Well, it would have been her
Guaranteed.
fault because she
Absolutely.
would have seen him there and left him out in the snow First of
I
all,
agree with you, Dave.
what was he doing out in the snow in the first place? He went on some desperate search for her, like he was going to be able to track her down by himself.
I thought he
No,
was
that was
out
when
of
he was
his
talking
mind.
with. That's when he was talking with. What's his
Talonvor.
face? Talonvor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're both sitting there commiserating and
Right, but then
probably boozing and passed out.
But then he went into the wolf dream. And this is what happened is
Right,
he got hung up in the wolf dream for so long that he left himself out there in the snow.
well,
Yeah,
then
and he
Berlin
got
has every
tired.
right to bring him in and paddle his bottom.
I agree with that. She
Mm-hmm.
has every right to, and I was just assuming, it's like that scene from what is that Elizabeth Shue movie? With that one, Dave.
I
Where
own
they're
like
the
90%
Saint.
of them,
The Saint,
which I just watched 2 weeks
Body
ago,
Heat.
and I
Yeah.
just watched that 3 weeks ago.
There you go.
Yeah.
I wasn't even talking about the movie. Nice.
You're
Nice.
quite welcome for
That's
that
one of
laugh.
those moments. That's
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
those moments. I
There you
like
go.
it.
Little
Yeah,
Kathleen
she totally
Turner.
takes advantage of this situation. Like both of these people are both Perrin and his wife are at the end of their ropes.
She's a smart one.
Well, she's just ruthless.
She's better for
She
Perrin.
gave him the olive branch.
She is better for Perrin.
She gave him the olive branch, and he refused it. And this is so we're in Wolf of Man, so I can bring this up. He has become, and this is why I was talking about him wanting him to die in the town.
Cumbersome.
He
Yes. True.
a terrible
Truer
song
words.
and a
Never
terrible
said.
place for Perrin to be in. Yes. He
It is a terrible song.
he is hell be
No, we know why it's terrible.
It's terrible.
horrible.
Unfortunately, that whole genre is really not great.
And the guitar sound with I think they're playing Stratocasters through like heavy distort. Oh, anyhow, so he's become intolerable
Yes.
in a
you said
very
that.
short amount of time. He has lost focus. I got so mad listening to this in the car, like I started seething just listening to him talk and just how nothing matters but Faile. Everything
Oh
else
my
can
gosh.
be burned and go to the wayside. And without Faile, the sun's going to crack. Dude, she wasn't there before. The world and you got along fine. If something happens, it's going to suck. But guess what? There's still a world to save. A
You've also known her
literal
for
world to
3
save.
weeks.
Right, right.
I
maybe
mean, this
6
is
months.
his
but
wife.
I get that.
I think-
and yet
I think if your
He's
wife
two
was,
rivers. I know,
was
I know.
captured by a bunch of people, you would probably do what you could to go and get her
would I
back.
say that?
I
Would I say
am
my
telling you
best
this
friend
much.
can go burn? Who's going to save the world? No, probably not.
Tell me
I-
this much, Adam.
Really love my wife, and she's way better than Faile. Faile's so annoying. Sorry.
Okay.
She's just real annoying.
To
Yeah.
you and me, but not to Perrin.
What? He just said your
Well,
wife
yeah.
is annoying, Adam. To you and me.
I
Oh,
just
boy.
I'm
I'm flying out there to punch you in the butt,
Punch you in the noggin.
right in the butthole.
the issue with Faile. I mean, I my issue with Perrin is not that he's going after Faile. It's that he's dragging this whole army with him. That's the problem I have.
Well, he
Yeah.
here the bigger problem is this. Yes, it's his wife. He loves her. Guess what? You're a king. You're a literal king, and a king has responsibilities. And as a king has responsibilities, they shake their hands in the air like Eric is doing, and they say, "I'm sorry, queen, but I have a kingdom to rule."
Or they delegate. They delegate.
No, you
stuff.
can't. You king can't
He
delegate
definitely needed to. He kind
can
of
delegate
delegated
her
here
being
and there,
found.
but not enough.
This is the moment where we might benefit from having some wives in this conversation to be like, if I were captured, you husband better come and find me regardless of the situation.
Oh,
I
I would
actually
definitely
think-
go do it.
I actually think
I
a
would
queen
definitely go
would
do
say your responsibilities to your kingdom if she's a good queen.
This being said, I would make the same decision. But
All right, there we
it's
go.
Just
There we
Well,
go.
I would rule the kingdom.
great.
Sadly, and you would be a
I-
heartless man.
You want to know why? Because it's like this. It's like this for Adam as a father. You can attest it. They always say you're supposed to save your wife first and let the kids perish. I would do the opposite. I would save the kids.
I'm not talking about this. Anymore.
Right. This is
I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Let's do a
I'm not-
podcast on
yeah.
Sophie's Choice.
I'm just not talking about this here.
I'm just saying.
I know. What
Kids
you're
are
saying.
blood.
just so you know, the women come last. That's the children.
Women
first.
last, children first. That's what it should be.
What consequences could Perrin's decision, to prioritize his wife over this mission have?
Everything.
It could fail.
The fate of the world literally can be resting in Perrin's hands.
Shaitan could conquer the world.
I mean,
Well, I mean,
he has to be by Rand. He has to be
he
near
had
Rand. He's
one
not going near
directive,
Rand.
right? His directive was to bring
Masema.
back, and he's not going there. So,
Not only that,
and now
Perrin
Masema's
knows he
acting.
has to be near
Now
Rand.
Masema's acting all weird. Now he's acting all weird,
Right.
but we're getting more
Right.
clear,
Even
evidence
weirder.
of, like how strange he is acting.
He's actually
and being
acting agreeably at the end of these chapters, so I don't know.
Which is strange.
It can't be good. It cannot be good that he's like, oh yeah, it's fine.
Let's
go
party,
do that.
Perrin.
Let's
Once.
use this dark
My mother
power.
did that to me once.
Yeah.
Once.
I'm going to grant all my people one dispensation for this one time, which conveniently somehow how helps me.
This is going nowhere good fast.
I mean, it's going to massively delay. It's obviously Perrin's collection of Masema to begin with has been massively delayed, and now it's just going to massively delay it even more, which means that whatever plans that Rand had that relied on having Masema around or at least stifled now also have to be postponed.
Does Rand remember those plans though? Yeah, is he a remembler?
Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't
Rand remembers. Rand
I think you
has
give Rand
Well,
plans.
that's right, because
credit.
it was 5 days ago.
Right. Exactly.
Oh no, it's taken them quite a while to get out here to Apala. 6 days.
It's first I've heard about it.
That,
Obala. I think that we should buy.
Oh, we've been
we
in
should
Obala.
buy property there.
We've been in Apala for 2 days. I mean, you
We
can
got
you can
property
rock
coming
bottom
place.
prices,
it's the
Rock
lakefront
bottom.
property.
and Masema is leaving, so
Think
it
of
can
how
only
nice it's
get
gonna
better.
be.
Yeah.
You're buying.
Things
you're
are,
buying
look
low.
it up. Real estate prices are skyrocketing.
I wonder if any town has been like that. Hey, you know that guy that used to be here
Right. He just
that was
left.
causing such problems?
Yeah.
He's out.
Right.
So buy
Let's
that
go.
land
Yeah.
now.
These property values are about to go sky high.
Mhm.
It's gonna be great.
We're gonna build
No
condos.
one else
Mortgage
is gonna
rates
come
are
in and
gonna
do
plummet.
the same thing.
Yeah.
So we've spent a little bit of time talking about Faile, but since you guys love her so much, I figured we could talk about her a little bit longer. So let's move on to Epic Faile. So, as much as you don't like her, I wouldn't wish what she's gone through on anyone.
Well, let's
No, she's
if we can
impressed me.
if we can
She's very
slightly
much
segue
impressed
from
me.
Perrin into this. A bigger thing with the whole Bear Lanes thing and tying Faile into this is now the relationship between Perrin and his men.
Yeah,
There's-
this is what I was talking about with
yeah.
Barrelane knowing what she was doing.
Well, but there's a massive rift happening there, especially because of the way Two
Power
Rivers
move.
men are.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's undermined his moral authority.
They all
She's smart.
seem to think he's canoodling,
Right.
and
If
he gets
they're
that.
thinking that he is,
And he's dumb
maybe
enough to
he's a
think
good
that
man.
he's dumb enough to not be aware of that, and has to be brought up to him by Basil Gill of all people, in his not quite.
Hey, don't
great
you talk
approach.
that way about Basil?
I mean,
Rathbone.
I'm just saying, he's not the most
Quick, name your 3 favorite Basils.
Basil from
Basil, faulty.
Faulty Towers.
Basil
yeah.
Forty.
Basil Faulty, Mr. Faulty.
Yeah,
Basil
Isn't one of the Three
Ebaxweiler,
Musketeers
Mysterious Basil
actors
Basil
named Basil?
Ebaxweiler.
she's undermined his moral authority with not just his men, but it's domestic relationships for the monarchy are viewed differently than by the common people. And so for him to be stepping out is a major problem for the Two Rivers men, but also for
Anyone.
for all of the other kingdoms that are there with him.
But this is also on him too.
Yep.
Because he chooses not to address it.
Yep.
Well,
He could nip it right in the butt right now.
You can't because
You
the
absolutely
perception
can.
because the no, you can't because you start protesting too much over this and then people are just going to go, why are you protesting?
Or
about
you can
this so
protest not at all, which is
or
what
you
he
can
does.
or you can say, hey, check it out. I can hear you.
Right.
I can hear all of you
I'm
talking.
right here.
I am very good at hearing things.
Right.
You know why?
because I have wolf blood.
Yeah.
I mean, but he
And
doesn't
then
do
his
anything.
people would be like, "Oh, you have wolf blood, no big deal."
They'd be proud of that. They'd
They
be like,
would-
our parent.
No,
The Wolf King.
Some of the folks that are there would definitely.
Yeah, you know what their names are?
not be good
Coplins and
with that.
Congers.
Exactly. Exactly.
He doesn't do anything, which is just as equally as bad as
He sure
protesting
doesn't.
too much.
Well, because Berlane understands how these things work. The event happens.
She also
Yeah.
understands Perrin.
I don't even think you have to understand parent. Like this is the type of thing where people draw conclusions from, and there is no way to dissuade them from those conclusions other than just over time demonstrating your faithfulness. Like you can't when somebody witnesses something that they think is conclusory evidence of infidelity. And you come up to them and go, "Oh no, what you think you saw isn't what you think you saw." They're not going to go, "Oh, okay."
You're being way too logical with a bunch of people who are acting illogically.
This is how people.
You're
act.
also
No,
being
no,
way
this is
too
how people
logical
act.
in
This is
terms
not
of
how all
the
people
fact
act.
that this is a different. Yeah, that's fine. I think he should have.
You think that
parent?
parent should have gone to open mic night and taken and gone just so everybody knows I
He's the
did not
leader.
sleep with Berlane.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's called
he's the
being
leader.
a
He should
king.
have stepped up and been
that
like,
that would
"Hey."
never work. That doesn't work.
Regardless of if it would have made a difference if they believed him or not, at least he would have gone out and did that himself and cleared his name and been and
No,
and
or
said,
tried
"Hey,
to
Clearing
clear his name.
your
Tried-
name means being successful
not
at
clear
it.
your name, to speak the truth." Then
Yeah, but
Like, get
if
up
it
there and
doesn't
speak the truth.
have an effect, and the difference is, Dave,
it doesn't
you're
matter if it
talking
has
about
an
a
effect.
situation.
It has an effect for himself.
I
to
agree
be
on
able
a
to do
smaller domestic situation that makes a lot more sense when you can have conversations with people you care about. This is huge. This is a giant society. He can't
why it's
have
more
these
important.
conversations with
Should've
a bunch
stood
of
up.
people.
Hey,
I mean,
And
you can get your-
these are people making decisions about him that don't even know him really.
should at least
He's
talk
just
to
their
Lenny.
leader.
talk
He's
to
not,
Lenny.
He's not somebody they know.
yeah.
Talk-
well,
That would probably
Lenny.
she would probably say what I'm saying, which is just, you know what, you just have to go about your day, and eventually they'll realize that you're not this type of person.
Lenny's
That's fine,
a
but at least he
statements-based
talked to
person,
Lenny.
but yeah, I mean,
But
I
he
think you
didn't.
get together at least a group of the most important people who trust you the most,
Agreed.
but he
Yeah.
doesn't do
Yep.
that.
Doesn't do it.
Well,
At all.
who would those people be in this encampment?
Lenny, Basil Gill.
Basil Gill.
I mean, he
Talon
did talk to
Fuller.
Basil Gill.
No,
He did talk
Basil
to
Gill
Basil
brought
Gill.
it up to him
Right.
and made
Yeah,
him
he's
aware
the
of
one
Yes,
it.
that
and then
brought
he
it up.
talked to him about it.
No, he actually didn't even talk to him about it. What he did was he found out about why the people thought this, and then he just kind of went, "Oh."
That's true. He did not talk.
He did not talk to Basil Gilmore about it.
He did say I was in the tent.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't offer up any real explanation as to what happened. There's other people he could have talked to as well.
Sometimes talking about things makes them an even bigger deal. That's
Sure, I
Sometimes-
do think that you should have spoken to a small few, at
The
least.
cadre.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't even think Baron
I know, he's got his one mind.
To know
He's-
that much
he's-
about him.
he
This is
just wants to
how
go
these things
find
work.
his-
It's
Now
very
the
easy.
snowball's
Falcon.
rolling downhill.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
going to be a
yeah.
problem. So let's.
And it's rolled with Faile in it into the Aiel camp.
Well, right. She's
Jordan
there
was just
in
like,
the
"How
snow.
can I make this
naked
more
in the snow.
How can I make
Naked
this
and afraid
relationship
in the snow.
right
even
and having
worse?"
frostbite, dealing with
Ugh.
keeping frostbite away. She's been on her feet.
She's getting her butt swatted by the big
Yeah, right.
lumbering oaf.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm keeping you awake."
Right. Whap.
She's nude.
It was working.
She's like Bianca.
And then she fell right. And then she fell asleep.
Yeah, nobody gains a lot of respect for her for surviving these incredibly difficult these incredibly physically difficult circumstances.
I haven't said that.
She's way less annoying than Perrin. I said Perrin should die. I didn't say anything about her.
No, she's incredibly impressive.
She can stay
An
alive.
incredibly impressive person.
She
Quite
has
annoying.
quite annoyingly
Quite
impressive.
annoying. She's so impressive in these chapters.
Yeah, she's less annoying in these chapters than she can be for sure.
Well, other than getting too prideful and saying her name. Whoops.
That was yes. Yeah, that was an oops moment for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really. I mean, they just totally reveal who they are, which they. But you know what? That fits in with Alejandro's character
And Faile, pride.
Yeah.
I don't think Faile reveals who they are.
Oh, she does.
Yes, she does. She says her
reveals
name.
who she is to Anura, and then Anura's
no. She tries to disguise who she is. She doesn't realize that Anura. She doesn't know how knowledgeable Anura is about
not Anura, whatever her
Saldean
name
naming
is.
culture or nomenclature.
Whatever her name is. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, she should have just said nothing because now the red,
right?
who
But she's
is a black.
she's trying to figure out this Aes Sedai and who she is and whether or not she makes the mistake of trusting her.
Bitter in the butt.
She made a big old mistake.
Yeah. Yep.
But she was, incredibly impressive, making sure that she doesn't get frostbite.
She kept her people together.
Yeah, kept keeping her people together.
Well, they're sort of separated now.
Well, yeah,
I mean, also, there are so many secrets amongst these people.
yeah. Secret.
What secrets?
Of
Well, the different factions amongst the Shido, like you got Savannah and Tharava kind of at each other, and you got one spying on one.
Oh,
and
amongst the Shido, there are tons of problems for sure.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were talking about secrets amongst Faile's coterie.
No, they've got their own secrets where they did trying to contain who they were, and now it's
did, yeah.
The secret is Faile and the spying that she's been having them do, which Perrin eventually uncovers here in these chapters.
Well, we still got the secret of who the queen is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because she's
nobody knows who she is, including Faile.
I know, but Faile is like, why all of a sudden is this
why is she
Why
taking
does this woman
control?
keep piping up?
Why is this woman,
She's going to have a good talking to. I really, really, really hope someday soon that she can just say who she actually is.
Oh,
No
I
kidding.
don't think she can do that. She's
She's
not going to be able to
going
do
to.
that while they're captured.
No
way.
No, I want her to give Faile a
be
comeuppance
nice.
for that because
No kidding.
she needs to. She, not only that, she needs agency for herself, just to be like.
I think she's
Tired of
found
being
some
bossed
kind of
around.
solace in being a servant versus, having to
She sucks
be a
at it.
queen. In some ways, she's really good because she knows what a servant needs to do, but she
Right,
keeps
but she
forgetting
can't
herself.
do it. That's the problem.
She just keeps forgetting that she's in this position.
But she's right half the time.
She is
Just not about her personal love life.
Yeah, well, I mean, who is?
Oh boy, big swing and a miss there.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, that the relationship is still ongoing, so it could eventually. Then
I
they
kind of like
could
me some
tie the knot.
Talon Vor.
I love Talonvor. I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about the
another
Forsaken.
relationship she had.
she was compulsed or whatever he did.
Yeah.
He bewitched
Compelled,
her.
yeah.
Can men use compulsion? So it
Sure.
couldn't have been that. I thought it
No,
was
no,
only a
they
woman
can.
thing.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not a female Aes Sedai thing.
Yeah.
Is it? Do you think it's more or less likely? Is it more likely that Faile escapes or that Perrin rescues her?
Oh,
I don't
good
think there's
question.
any for
I
that.
think that I don't think
they're going to try to
I
escape.
don't
and
think
nothing
Perrin's
good's
going to
happen
rescue
from it.
her.
You don't? Okay. Why not?
How on earth would that be possible in the situation that she's in?
I don't know.
Well, he's stealthy. He could sneak into camp and rescue her.
It's true. We have had instances of
They've got Aiel,
Big
who are
lumbering
good
Perrin is
sneakers.
stealthy.
Sure,
Hmm.
stealthy like a wolf.
I know, but
Well, then
this
he
is
a wolf.
it just kept getting the description just kept being so many people moving.
Yeah.
There
So
are
many
a
people
lot of
just
the
moving.
Shido.
All around.
Yes.
I think
Just
she probably has a
flags.
better chance of sneaking out than he has a chance of sneaking in. But at the same time, both those chances suck. They're
So
not
you
good.
think there's a better chance of her sneaking away, and you think so too, Adam?
I think there's a better chance of someone else showing up and freeing her or
well,
something
that
else
wasn't
happening.
one of the options I gave you.
Right.
Well,
But I yeah.
then I
mean,
would choose sneaking away. I
I
suppose.
guess.
You think she's better at sneaking off in her
I think there's a greater chance.
golden belt
I don't know
and
that it's better.
golden
unless
crown.
Perrin just gets a bunch of wolves.
A gaggle.
That would be a lot of wolves, and
It'd be
that they would
it'd
need.
be hundreds of thousands of wolves.
And the Shido
Yeah.
are probably better hunters than the White Cloaks are.
White Cloaks.
the last
unless
one of
Perrin's-
the times that
unless
Perrin has brought
Perrin's-
wolves to try to rescue himself. Go ahead.
I don't
Adam.
know. They could also have. You could also have some more of the Black Tower help him out. I suppose. I
The
don't know.
Ashaman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. He could. That would be super messy. But if push came, if it became necessary, yeah, why wouldn't you do that?
What here? I will say Masema saves her.
Yeah. Okay. Just so you can say that.
No.
He's not going to care in the
No.
least.
Why would he put himself in harm's way like that?
He's just going to travel around with Perrin, though, chasing after Faile. Do you think her attempts at escape are going to endanger her ability to be rescued?
I think she's going to be in this for a while. There's probably a lot of stuff that needs to be discovered, and it will be discovered by her.
What do you think it's likely that she tries to escape and just gets herself into much deeper trouble at some point?
Sure, that happens with all of them, right?
I mean, not many of them have been captured,
Well,
but that definitely sounds like
There have
Faile,
been-
doesn't it?
it does sound like Faile, but there have definitely been bracelets put on people a couple times.
Oh, sure, by the Shan-Chan. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
So-
a different type of slave labor, though. This is
I know.
This
Well,
is
sure.
also a different type of slave labor as Guy Shine, which is totally breaking all convention here. She's just
It's
There ain't no
annoying.
convention. I don't even think they should be called Aiel.
yeah. I don't think they should either.
No,
They're not.
they should be the brotherless.
I'm sure that
Yeah.
they're the Aiel are probably the real Aiel. Are not big fans of the Shido
I mean-
and what Savannah is doing.
The numbers that they're pulling, there have to be some. That's so bizarre, but it would happen.
There's gonna be a lot of them again. Perrin,
Yep.
they're starting to find each other after having been scattered to the winds, and Rand thinks that
By Kadar.
they're all on the other side of the dragon wall.
That's
Yeah.
that's someone else's problem to deal with.
It is a good point, though, bringing up the fact
Might
that
be
it
the
is kind
Shan-Chan's
of like
problem.
the tower, though, and the fact that you can see how
Yes,
clearly this is not going well.
yeah. Politically, it's starting to become
So
a
it
mess.
could fall apart
Yes, yeah.
very easily because
Jordan
you
is-
don't have good guidance.
Jordan is laying the groundwork for
Yeah.
for infighting for sure.
There's
Yep.
going to be a revolution.
Revolution.
I mean, that'd be good for all of us.
Revolution's calling.
Who was your Coplin of the week, Adam?
I mean, do I even have to say? Don't we all
Just
agree?
throw it out there.
Eric's not going to say. Perrin is my Coplin of the week. Give me a break, man.
Solid choice.
Give
When I wish someone's
me
could
a
die, that's a
break. Yeah,
it's a very solid pick.
I feel like he just made a series of pretty bad decisions that were just solely based on his feelings for
His wife?
his wife, which I respect.
Do
I
you?
mean,
It doesn't sound like
I
you do.
respect that. That's amazing. Sure.
Kingdom
that's
and
great.
country.
But also, I am not in that position. It is kingdom and country, and there is the whole world at bay here. He could have gone about it a better way even if it's just his wife that he's going after. He should have solved it. He should have solved the issues that we were talking about. Not solved them. He should have addressed it that we were talking about with Berlane. And he could have just sent some people out to figure out the situation a little better than just bringing everybody down there right away.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's still to be determined how
TBD.
much of that army he takes. But
I think he's taking the whole thing.
it sure seems like he's taking most of it, which, none of us think is
But not the blacksmiths.
the right idea.
He's blacksmith enough.
Well, this blacksmith
I got
has
all
picked
of
up an
this.
axe.
Yeah.
My Coplin of the week was Masema.
Solid pick.
That's a great pick.
I think he's for somebody who calls himself a prophet, he's incredibly duplicitous.
He's a prophet of doom.
He's clearly insane, but even within that insanity, he's still I think aware of the fact that he is manipulating people.
Yeah, he does seem to be making pointed moves.
Yeah. There seems to be
A direction.
some kind of a plan. The insanity comes in the way that
Because he surrenders.
in the way that he chooses to
Surrenders.
kind
now.
of deal with
Later.
people who disagree with him. And also, like, I don't understand, like, you're surrounded by this much rabble. They're also sort of crazed. Like, what's keeping them from just killing you in your sleep,
Yeah.
as well? Other than just their fear of you.
That's what
Apparently,
it is.
he's established himself as a
Ruthless warlord.
also untouchable.
Yeah, maybe they think that he has superpowers, even though he's
that's
totally
what he's
against
fighting
them.
against,
Right?
right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, that's how that goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was your Coplin of the week, Dave?
Tharava.
Tharava. Oh, I sort of like her.
She's my Coplin because of this.
Ooh.
The girls are in a bad enough situation. The ladies. They're thrown into Shaido camp. And then she's got to throw this level of complexity on top of it.
Well, she's got her own plans.
Dancing on a pinhead. Like,
yeah, she needs to know what's going on in that Savannah's mind.
And then she's just, it's like a boob competition between the two of them. Like, whose robe can expose more and who can wear more chains. And
man,
whose
I
hair
thought we were going to get through a
Oh.
podcast without it.
I had a
don't-
question about
so
that.
stupid
though.
of me.
I have
PG.
a question.
But
What's your question?
it's an actual point in the book that he
mine
keeps
wouldn't be
making.
PG. I'm not going to ask it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
He keeps making this point about them exposing themselves, and it's a literal competition between the two of them. It's insane the lengths these two will go to outdo each other. And she now has got them spying, and I'm sure it's not going to end up well.
Nope.
So
That's not going to end well.
I can't stand her. I mean, I obviously can't stand
I like
Savannah either.
Right. Yeah.
But I think I like Savannah just a little more.
Interesting. I like Tharava more. But
Wow.
that's just because I disliked Savannah so much that anybody that doesn't like Savannah, I'm okay with.
Yeah,
I like Tharava a little more too.
I don't.
Who leveled up? Dave.
Berlane.
Yeah.
Girl's got mad survival flex skills and she's cunning. She's ruthless.
I
She's
can
brutal.
see that. Yep.
And then not only that, like I do
She's
respect.
also kind of petty.
I do respect the fact that she was willing to put it to a side for the moment, for the time being.
Was she? Or did she just say she was?
No, she said, I don't think she is the type of person that doesn't say something she doesn't mean. She's very
agree with that.
calculated. So if
I
she
agree
was
with
going to
that.
say that, she was going to go ahead and do it. But then she was going to come on like lock, stock, and barrel once Faile got back. Now, the gloves are off. Like, Perrin really
This is a
screwed
good
the
time
pooch
for
on
the
that
gloves
one.
to be off, right? When, the world's kind of collapsing.
Well,
I'm
her gloves are always off.
I am just a huge fan of Berlane, so there's no wrong in that for me.
Yeah. I mean, except for the whole infidelity thing, but there is that.
Yeah.
You hush
There
with
is that. There is that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying.
Balwer leveled up for me.
Oh, I like a little
He,
Balwer.
I
action.
love Balwer.
He reminds me. There's a character in the Witcher stories called Taller, who's a spy master. While Taller is sort of super muscular, Balwer is definitely not. But both men have really pinched faces with long noses, and so I imagine Balwer with Taller's aquiline nose and wired circular frame glasses on him. Yeah,
you know who I picture him as in the Rock. He's the guy. No, not the Rock. It's in Under Siege. He's the computer guy.
Right. Yeah, the soup. Yeah, except that guy's
with
also
the round
really
glasses.
muscular.
No,
But yes.
no, the little nerdy guy. We're dead in the water, Stranix.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I'm thinking of the guy from the Predator.
Oh, no.
Right, yeah. No,
that guy with the foul mouth.
Yes. Yeah. Who leveled up for you, Adam?
Oh, Faile.
Okay.
Of course.
Solid pick.
Give me a break. She was going through so much.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
She endured so much, and she was aware of the entire situation, and she did what she could to get through it. And that would be absolutely awful.
Revealing who she was aspect.
Except for that.
But apart from that,
I did want to say Barrelane, but I want to give Faile
she gets some props.
credit for this, because that is
it's a lot.
horrible
lot.
for what they were all going through.
All those ladies, man.
Also, give more gays some credit too.
Yeah.
Because they all did it.
0.2.
Yeah, they all survived, right?
They all did it. They all had to go do, yeah.
But Morghese had that, and you're right. I should have picked Morghese. She had that great point where she said, where she was like, tell him, you guys have to consider yourselves servants. You have to know your role, shut your hole. Like, just stop.
Yep.
If you keep thinking of yourself as something different than what you are now, it's going to backfire miserably.
I did like the fact that there were differences in her opinion of what should be done with Faile's opinion of what should be done regarding spying.
Spying.
But we're gonna spy. But yeah, she's such a hard person. She's so sure
in those
of
the northern lands.
Yeah, I really respect it, and it's not going to be easy for her from here for a while.
Well, it's not going to be easy for any of them.
She's
not anyone. Yeah.
They'll all suffer together.
Out of the cook pot into the fire.
I just wish she were with another person other than Perrin.
Right.
I wish Perrin were with.
Maybe time.
I wish Perrin were with Barrelane.
Right. So does Barrelane.
I know.
But then she probably.
It's odd. That whole thing was odd. We didn't even talk about it.
What whole
her just
thing?
being like
the whole scene in the tent.
Her saying I've only been with 3 people.
Right.
And
that surprised me.
None of them I wanted to be with.
They're all political maneuvers.
Yeah. And then she was just saying, I am going to do this with you.
Right. She is.
Even though what she's doing is being like, he doesn't want to be with you. You're doing the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I just want to know. I'm sure there's a lot of fanfic out there about him and Barrelane being together. Sure. I just want to find the best. Because
maybe you should start writing your own, Adam.
I'll write it my own.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. They can have so many arguments about how annoying Perrin is.
Yeah, I'm sure Perrin will be heavily involved in those arguments about how annoying he is.
Hey, maybe he's been taught that he can argue those things.
Yeah,
that's what he got from Faile.
Well, that wraps up episode 25. Join us for episode 26 when we will cover chapters 7 through 12 of Winter's Heart. Until then, may you rest in the Creator's hand.
May you know good hunting, young bull, and she's to give you many cubs.
Doviande Sitovius again.